Hey, what's going on? Back at it today with my friends. We're missing Carlos. He's out on his honeymoon. Just got married, so congratulations to him. And we're going to have a little special topic today that I hope teaches you something. But our conversation today is going to be about who is responsible. Eli came up with that title. I think it's a great title because there's been multiple times when I'm, not multiple times, but there's been times when I've been rolling with somebody and you get them in a position, you go, are you going to tap or no? Or, who's responsible for, I don't even know how to say all that. How would you say that?
Yeah, I guess who's responsible for the well-being of the gym?
There we go.
Really, right? Because like when we were talking about it briefly, it boils down to: are you going to move on from this submission, or are you going to go until the guy taps? And I think it's a good topic because Jiu Jitsu is getting so popular now. You're getting a lot of people coming in with on a trial basis, or even some fresh white belts and stuff. And what you and I were talking about earlier, right, where I feel responsible for the well-being of the gym and the reputation of the gym, when it's somebody who should not know better. I guess like a trial guy doesn't know that he's in danger until it's too late. So in that situation, I feel the responsibility falls on me, the upper belt, to know, okay, he's not going to tap, I'm going to move on, and then we'll have a conversation after the round. Mm-hmm. But if it's somebody that I know, that I've trained with enough to know that they should know better, then we'll go until they tap.
Yeah.
But that.
And my whole point was, should it even get to that? Should it be at a point? And when we're talking about tapping, we're talking about at the extreme tap. We're not talking about the tap where it's like, okay, you got me, We're talking about when it gets to that point where you're going, whoa, dude, like your arm is about to break. Like your shoulder, I can see your shoulder right here. So it's like starting to pop out. Like it's not right. And so taking care of people who don't understand, but then there's people who do understand, and there's this P word involved, and it's called pride. And like you're saying, taking care of them, when obviously you're rolling with people in your school and you care about your uke, you care about the people in your school, but it's almost not fair or not right, or that moment is not, I don't like being in that moment. I don't like being in that moment where I get someone to a point and they won't tap and I'm going, well, what do I do?
Yeah.
It does. If they don't tap and they admit that you had it, then it's really not, I don't want to say not fair. It's just, it puts you in an odd position to move on.
Yeah.
And they never, would I say they never learn? Or, I mean, eventually they're going to learn, right? Someone's going to probably hurt them at some point.
Yeah, somebody's going to hurt them, but I mean, do you want it to be you? I guess that's the next question, right? Do you want to be the guy that's going to be like, okay, yeah, I tore Alex's shoulder out of socket because he wouldn't tap, and
congratulations.
Congratulations. Yeah, I won practice. Hooray. But I don't know, man. I mean, I think you're what you've always talked about, right, with pride and ego. It's such a forefront here on the mats. Even though they say ego should be involved, it's very hard to put it in check. And so in those situations, like if I know I've got somebody in this position, they're not tapping, I'm like, okay, well, now it is a battle of egos.
Egos.
Right, mine.
Plural, yeah.
Right. It's like, well, do I want to tap this guy, or do I want to just move on and maybe we scramble and he gets me into a position where I have to tap? I mean, does it really matter in the long run? No, it doesn't. But in the moment, it might, And so that's that dichotomy. That's that battle that you're constantly in here kind of dealing with, right?
Like Lego, my ego.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I feel like a part of it too is how dangerous is it to hold the submission and not actually finish it? Because there's a lot of things where I feel like if I get in that position, if I have control, I'll just loosen the grip up on the submission, whatever that might be, but maintain control and let them sit in it until they realize, oh, I can't get away and he's not breaking my ankle or whatever it might be. And so I think you can't do that with every submission. You can't hold a deep heel hook and let them roll around. You're going to hurt them.
Yeah.
But if you have an ankle lock, or if you have a heel hook and you let go of the heel hook, or if you have a head and arm, like you can control them and let them struggle and move around without letting go of it and fully moving on. And so I feel like if it's not a dangerous position to hold, I'll try to do that.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you're at the end of a submission and they're flailing, I feel like your only choice is to let go.
Yeah.
At least for me, I guess my only choice is to let go. I'm not
I've
trying
had
to hurt
moments with
anybody.
you and you where you guys have gotten me into a submission, and I know you have it, you know you have it, you get it, and then you will move on.
Yeah.
And there's a literal telepathic agreement going, you win, and then we move on. And I know that probably comes with time and rolling with people. So like you're saying, hey, this new guy, he doesn't know. He doesn't know. But then there's people that are upper belt. I'm talking, and I'm thinking about some specific people that they should know in that moment, like, I need to respect the technique right now. I need to show respect for what just took place. But instead they don't. And it puts that other person in a position where the egos are in battle. He's like, dude, I just want you just to acknowledge that I did this right. And now you've put me in a place where I let go, and you're going to go, hey, dude, I got out of that. You didn't get out of that.
But yeah, I mean, then it just boils back down to like, well, do you need those accolades?
I need them.
Sometimes I do. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, no, I need to know that I got you. But we'll talk about it later. But sometimes it's just like, yeah, I know I had that guy.
So how do you feel about saying it mid-roll? Like if you're like in the middle of the roll and you're like, hey man, are you gonna tap right now? Do you feel like that's appropriate, or do you feel like you should wait till after?
Yeah, I think it just depends on the individual. Like if it's somebody like, okay, for example, if I'm rolling with Alex and I've got him in this crazy heel hook, which I always do, by the way.
Yes.
Sarcasm. No, but if I do got him and I'm like, okay, he would have normally tapped in this situation. He's not tapping. I think him and I are at a point in our jiu-jitsu relationship where I can say, do I not have this mid-roll? Like, what's going on? Like, because we know, like, hey, we're all trying to get better. And so that's probably the only time I would stop mid-roll.
Do you know what he did to me last week?
Tell him, yeah.
Dude, I had him in a sweet ankle lock, had it all tucked in. I started pulling. Seriously, he sat and went like this. You don't got it.
See, but that's good too.
I mean, if he had sunglasses, bro, you could have put him on the rack.
Gangster.
He just told me on the cool.
No, like wasting our time training.
I mean, it literally, it deflated me. I was like,
Yeah.
okay, I'll move on.
That's good.
If you had it, I just knew it would take the wind out of your sails. That's what you didn't.
That was great.
So that's good too. I mean, that kind of borders on that. We've talked about it before on the channel, right? Where that borders on the, okay, if an upper belt or lower belt's got me, do I stop and start instructing to kind of get out of it? So that I can say he didn't get me?
Yes.
But if it's a lower belt telling you, I don't know, maybe he didn't have it.
Yeah, well, I knew he meant it. When he said it, I was like, oh, he means it.
Yeah,
He's letting me know, like, literally, you don't. It's not there.
Well, I ain't gonna lie, man. At my age now, if I'm rolling with some young guys, I will do some psychological warfare. I'm like, nah, that ain't nothing. No, you don't got it. Or I'll,
Take a deep breath.
yeah, and then lose, oh, thank God. That was close.
That's so funny. That's because people even that were at the school way before I was, they did that. And I would, at the end of the round, they'd be like, oh no, you had that. I just wanted to let you know. I was playing possum in that moment, and you moved on.
Yeah.
And so it's interesting. You learn how to operate in possum, and then you also learn how to tell when it's being possum. And you're like, nah, you ain't got me, bro. I know I got you.
Yeah, I think that's a part of it.
Yeah,
For sure. Showed up again. He knew it was going to be me in the middle, and he was like, oh, yeah.
Came back for
I'm coming back for revenge.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I mean, I think it's very tricky, right? It's a challenging thing, you know, when it's people you know, like we've all rolled together for so long. You kind of get an understanding of where somebody sits, right? And you can say, I've got him. I don't need to prove anything. I'm gonna move on.
Yeah.
It's easier to let go of that ego, but when you get drop-ins, like even like upper belt drop-ins that come in, like, oh yeah, I'm a blue belt, I'm a purple belt from over here. You know, you just don't know. Like, is this person coming in trying to just take heads?
Yeah.
You know, that's challenging too. It's like, well, I'm gonna still try to control my ego enough to not let me push it so far that I put somebody out of commission.
Yeah.
You know, because it goes back to what you said, right? Well, how dangerous is the submission? Like, I'll put somebody to sleep if they're not going to tap because there's not too much damage that's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
But if I'm going to be like in a heel hook, I'm like, well, if I keep going, this guy's going to no longer be able to walk.
Yeah.
And you know, who knows? Maybe he needs that for his job. I'm not going to put him at risk.
Yeah.
At least I say that. I hope that it comes, you know, in the moment. I don't just snap somebody up. But
Yeah. You know, I remember just even at white belt, I always wanted to be. I didn't care that I had to tap. When I came in, I was like, I'll tap to anything. And I wanted to keep that. And I've noticed even in myself as the years have passed, I've held on longer. I've waited longer. And that pride and that ego, it does for some. It's so interesting how when you first start, you're like, I'll just tap to whatever.
yeah,
You know, at least that was my mentality. I'm not saying that's everybody's, but that was how I was going to do things. And so, but as time has gone on, I've seen where I have actually at times not wanted to or wanted to hold on just a little bit longer. So,
yeah. No, I do too. I mean, I hold on a bit longer, but I don't know. I mean, it's kind of a fine line, right? Where is it your ego?
or did you learn the position better? Did you learn
Right,
how to
or do you know, like, okay, I'm not really in danger right now. I know there's an escape coming, and I have, you know, I'm not tapping because I don't want to get tapped. I'm gonna let him break my arm, or is it because, well, I know there's an escape here. Let me try to get to that escape.
Mm-hmm.
So as you move on, I think with your experience, there should be more things you can reach back to and tap into to use. So whether it's an arm bar or an extra triangle like we've been working lately, right? Like, I know those are there. It may take me a second to get to an escape or what have you before I tap. So
I mean, even what he said a minute ago, I mean, just now thinking about it again, when Alex said holding them in a position, I wonder if you could hold it long enough where it felt awkward.
That's
Like this awkward moment comes up and you're like, it's awkward for you.
Yeah.
Because I'm holding you here.
Yeah.
And like that moment, they're like, okay. Like it almost is as if you have to let the tank,
yeah,
and they go, like reality comes back.
Yeah.
Like bringing them back to a place of going, oh, and then
Yeah.
you could let go.
yeah,
Because if you don't, maybe if you don't give them that time to think through because they're stuck, you know, and then you keep kind of pushing on the arm bar, pulling on something, you're going to hurt. But if you give them time to, literally, if you're stuck and they give them time to think, I think they go.
It clicks in. And I think ideally you should have time. You should have enough control over those positions
That's true.
to keep them there and not need to rush straight to some risky submission.
yeah,
And if you don't have that control, then I feel like focus on that. Focus on being able to hold somebody there without them needing to tap.
Yeah.
But they still can't get away, and then you don't have to force anything.
Yeah, almost 90% of my submissions, when I finish them, I'm like turtling it. I'm slow.
Yeah.
And I bring it to that place where they finally go, okay, it's there. You know, so not rushing it and like trying to hurry up and push it real hard.
right.
All right, I hope we covered the topic. I know it's a topic that keeps coming up and we keep talking about, but it's just something that happens. And I know it happens at your gym. It happens probably at every gym all around where you have to go, let go my ego, let go my ego, you know, and deal with your own ego, like Eli was saying, your ego, their ego, and letting go of that pride. All right, till next time. Peace.